In the article, published in the Biochemist, titled Busting Muscle Myths, James Bagley and colleagues address 3 common misconceptions. This is Talking Sports Science with a summary of each of the 3 myths. Myth 1. Muscle mass can only be gained by lifting heavy weights. Many believe lifting heavy weights is essential for increasing muscle mass, and that light loads are suboptimal for hypertrophy. However, today, the overwhelming body of evidence indicates otherwise, in that lifting lighter weights can just be as effective for increasing muscle mass, as long as repetitions are taken close to muscle failure. Therefore, the commonly held belief of go big or go home does not apply when it comes to achieving muscle hypertrophy. Moving on to myth 2. A long layoff from exercise means starting from scratch. It is true that if we stop resistance training, our muscles atrophy, in other words shrink. However, when muscles grow bigger through resistance training, the number of myonuclei also increase. These are the nuclei within the muscle fibers. It's thought that myonuclei can't divide to increase in number on their own. New myonuclei need to be acquired from muscle stem cells, also known as satellite cells. It's long been thought that these myonuclei aren't lost when muscles atrophy during periods of no training, which could help muscles grow back faster when training starts back. While this might be true in the short term, long-term studies question whether these myonuclei are permanent. So is the saying if you don't use it, you lose it true for myonuclei? Maybe in some cases, however it seems more complicated than just keeping the number of myonuclei. Recent evidence suggests that molecular epigenetic changes to the DNA within the myonuclei might have a memory of previous training. Epigenetics is a relatively new field that looks at how genes are accessed and used, usually due to environmental factors, without changing the DNA sequence itself. People who were previously resistance trained can gain muscle faster after a period of inactivity compared to those who have never trained before. It's thought that these epigenetic changes increase the activity of genes involved in muscle growth, creating a kind of molecular muscle memory. This means if we do stop training, it might be easier to make improvements again, so training may prepare us to better respond in the future. Understanding how muscles become more trainable has important implications, especially for improving muscle health as we age and our adaptability to exercise declines. And last but not least, myth 3, which is muscle fiber type is genetically predetermined and cannot shift with exercise training. Muscle fiber come in different types, categorized by their speed of contraction and metabolism. Slow oxidative fibers, known as type 1 fibers, are rich with mitochondria, which makes them efficient at using oxygen to produce energy. These fibers are associated with endurance activities, as they can sustain contractions for long periods without fatigue. While fast glycolytic fibers, known as type 2 fibers, contract at high velocities and are capable of producing power quickly but fatigue faster. They rely on glycolysis for energy production, which does not require oxygen. If we take the human quadriceps muscle, you'll typically find about 40% slow twitch, 40% fast twitch, and 20% hybrid, i.e. slow-fast twitch muscle fibers. As mentioned earlier, it was traditionally thought that the distribution of fiber type was genetically predetermined and cannot change with training, but this may not actually be the case. A case study published in 2018 involving genetically identical male twins who were 52 years old at the time of study support this. One twin had over 30 years of endurance training and had competed in multiple marathons and triathlons, while the other was inactive and had been sedentary his whole life. Thigh muscle biopsies revealed that the endurance-trained twin had 55% more type 1 slow twitch fibers, indicating the potential ability to shift fiber proportions with training. The potential ability to shift fiber proportions with training may have important implications for health and performance. And that concludes this presentation. As always, I recommend you go and check out the full article. The link is in the description. Thanks for listening, folks. See you next time.